Hi, I promised you a quick video on muscle testing, so here it is. Muscle testing, or kinesiology, which you may also hear it called, is a form of accessing universal divine truth. Okay, your body knows truth and falsehood when it hears it, and it responds directly to the reception of the truth or the falsehood. Truth makes the body go stronger, and falsehood makes it go weak. So with muscle testing, we're testing whether the muscle is responding in a strong fashion or if it responds with weakness to statements that we make. There are several different methods to go about it. I will introduce you to 3 methods to go about it, as well as basic calibration. And this calibration method will allow us to hone in on what's going to be the best method for you. The first and most simplest one that I teach people is called a sway test. Okay, and in the sway test, when you hear truth, you sway forward, and when you hear falsehood, you sway backwards. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to stand up. You're going to miss my head here for a second. But you stand up, you put your feet together right next to each other, and then you make a true statement like 2 + 2 = 4, and your body responds to that. And then you make a false statement. This is your calibration: 2 + 2 = 5, and it goes backwards. So that's your basic calibration. You can use other forms of truth and falsehood if you're not a math inclined person. You can make a statement like, my name is, and fill in your actual name, and then you could claim to be somebody else. My name is ZofiaRennea, and then you should sway backwards. Okay, because as far as I know, I'm the only ZofiaRennea out there. So that's your basic calibration method. The sway test is the simplest one for people to start with learning. It's not the most convenient one because you have to stand up, you have to, sway and do all this kind of thing, which will probably work fine in the supermarket, but maybe doesn't work so fine if you're sitting in a meeting and trying to make a decision on the fly. Another method that you can use that's fairly common is if you make a little circle with your fingers like this, okay, and then you can link them, and you want it to be just firmly enough that you can't pull them apart. This isn't a big strength challenge thing we're doing here. And then you say your calibration statement: 2 + 2 = 4. You try and pull them apart, it doesn't go anywhere. 2 + 2 = 5, and they separate. Okay, so that's the linked fingers one. Some people like that one quite well, but it takes 2 hands. Okay, it's not inconspicuous if you're trying to do it in a situation where you'd like to be inconspicuous. There are a couple other ones that you can do single-handedly, and I'm a fan of those because typically I'm writing with one hand and testing with the other. This finger here, the middle finger, is the strongest finger in your body. So if you hold that one out straight and you put your index finger on top of it and try to push it down, it's a hard thing to do because this finger is actually stronger than this one. Okay, so 2 + 2 = 4, it's going to stay nice and steady. You do 2 + 2 = 5, and now that finger doesn't win any longer. Okay, so that's one. It takes a little getting used to because the tendency is to hold the index out straight, but you want to hold the middle finger out straight and put the index on top of it. So it took a little bit of practice, but this is actually my favorite one because you can do that down on the side of your body, under the table, while you're writing with the other hand, and it works out extremely well. And then there is another method that you can try. So we have bones, right, that go down the center of each of these fingers, and if you put them together right on top of each other, obviously they're just going to sit there. You want to kind of set one off to the side a little bit. And if you push, it'll mostly stay there because of the resistance in your skin. But the resistance in your skin changes if you hear a falsehood. So if you do 2 plus 2 equals 4, it's going to stay right on top. If you do 2 plus 2 equals 5, then it slides. It doesn't want to stay when it hears the 2 plus 2 equals 5. So that's another one. That takes a lot more fine-tuning, and you have to get the finger placement right because you want to put those bones together, and that's not what you want to have happen. The bones need to be slightly off center for the slip to happen when it hears the falsehood. So that is 4 basic methods of muscle testing on yourself. The thing to know when you're asking questions, because that's the next thing, we like to get all the answers at once if we can, okay, but that's an essay, right? So they would have to write an essay in response, and muscle testing is a yes or no question sort of situation. So you want to ask simple statements that have clear answers, that don't contain a lot of assumptions, okay? The example that I use is asking whether you should sell the house, or whether the house will sell. That's the best one. Will the house sell? Well, there are a lot of assumptions in that statement, okay? The backstory on this, let's say you've interviewed for a job in Cleveland and you believe that an offer is forthcoming, and now you want to know if the house will sell. Okay, there are a lot of assumptions here. A, that you'll get an offer for the job in Cleveland, although it feels good, who knows, okay? Whether it's a good idea for you to take the job in Cleveland, which you have not asked yet. And then whether putting your house on the market is exactly the right thing to do, because it could be it's better for you to hold that house and treat it as a rental property. So if you try to go straight to that will the house sell question, you're going to get a mushy result or a no answer, or it's just going to be weird. And you'll be like, well, why isn't this working? Well, because you had a lot of assumptions in that question when you went in. So let's say you did interview for this job in Cleveland. It went really, really well. Okay, how do you approach the question of, well, what do I do with the house, right? Because it's on your mind. Well, you have to start with the bigger picture, which is, you know, is it optimal for me to accept the job offer in Cleveland? Will I receive an offer from the job in Cleveland? These are the places to start. Will I receive an offer? Yes or no? Okay. And if the answer is no, then you don't need to go down the rest of that road. If the answer is yes, you're going to get that offer from Cleveland, then you want to ask, is it optimal for you to take it? And if you take it, is it optimal for you to move to Cleveland? And if it's optimal for you to move to Cleveland, is it optimal to do something with your current house? Yes or no? Okay. There are many options for what you can do with your house. Is it optimal to rent it out? Yes or no? Is it optimal to put it on the market to sell it? Yes or no? Okay. And so then you'll get down to, okay, and if I put it on the market, will it sell? Yes. Will it sell in 3 months? Will it sell in 3 weeks? Those kinds of questions then become things that you can ask in a logical sort of way. So you want to start with the bigger picture and work your way down. That is your basic muscle testing. Now sometimes you may have some problems, okay? Problems tend to be in the question, but sometimes they're in your physicality, okay? If you've been really sick or really stressed or distressed, you want to make sure your calibration is on before you start. So every muscle testing session that I do, I start with 2 plus 2 equals 4 and 2 plus 2 equals 5, because if those come out backwards, then I know I'm having a problem within my system. I might be dehydrated, I might be sick, I might be thrown out of whack in some manner, and so I need to address that. Dehydration is the first and most obvious thing. I get a great big glass of water, I drink that down. Okay. If I'm still out of whack, then what I do is I approach the divine and I say, okay, I'm out of whack. You know, in the name of God, in the light of God, thank God for this healing, for returning me to the proper polarity. In the name of God, in the light of God, thank God for this healing. In the name of God, in the light of God, thank God for returning me to proper polarity. Thank you. Okay, and that generally takes care of the problem. Then I check again, 2 + 2 = 4, 2 + 2 = 5, and if that's responding appropriately, then I'm good to go. So if you have more questions about muscle testing, if you have something weird that comes up, just send me a message. ZofiaRennea, ZofiaRennea @ transformationspace.co. Thanks. Bye.